Hello friends and welcome to my channel Iballdesigningdeveloper. So ever wondered how Java methods actually give back information after doing all the work? That magic happens through return values in Java. Methods can do more than just run code. They can return results like numbers, text, or even objects right back to where they were called. It's like ordering your favorite coffee. You make a request and you get exactly what you ask for. Whether it's calculating the sum of two numbers or fetching data from a database, return values make your code powerful and reusable. And trust me, once you master them, your Java skills will level up instantly. Let's dive into how and why Java methods return values and how you can start using them to write smarter code. So before entering in this amazing tutorial, remember to hit a like to this video, and if you're new on this channel, want to see more videos like this, so remember to subscribe, and after subscribing, hit notification bell so you can get the notifications of all my videos which I will be uploading in future. So now what we are waiting for, let's move to computer screen and let's dive into it. Alright, so we are on the computer screen, and like I've told you in the start that today in this video I will be telling you that how we can work with return values when we are just starting with Java. So if we talk about return values, first of all we need to understand that what are return values and how we can use it. So in the previous page we used the void keyword in all examples, which indicates that the method should not return a value. If you want the method to return a value, you can use a primitive data type such as init, char, etc. instead of void, and use the return keyword inside the method. So remember when we were just working with method, so when we were just starting with that thing, if you haven't checked that video out, so you can check my previous video in which I have told you about method and method parameters. And when we were just working with method and method parameters, so in that we were just working on this void keyword as well. Like when we were just creating our method, so we need to create one void keyword as well, which indicates that method should not return a value. And that's the case in Java return values. Like if we want to return a value, so we will be not using void keyword there, and if we want that we should not having any value returned, so we will be using void here. So for explaining this in more detail, we need to understand how we are working it practically. So this is the example here, that how we are just not using void keyword and how we are returning a value. Like in the place of void, I'm using init, you can say init data type here, which is a, you can say, primitive data type which we are using, and you can use some other primitive data type as well. It is not compulsory to use this init data type. You can use char as well, you can use float as well, you can use a string as well, which are called as primitive data types here. So what I'm going to do is I will be opening my NetBeans IDE so that we can just paste this example in our text editor and see that if we are running this example, so what output we are getting, because we need to understand that if we are just using this example, if we are creating a method and without this void keyword, if we are running a, you can say, a example, so we are getting a value returned in output or not. So if you are a beginner and starting with Java, I will prefer you to use this NetBeans IDE, because I think for beginners this is really best text editor to use. I will be removing this start page here, and I have already created one file which is main.java, and we will be just adding all our codes in this file, because in the previous videos as well when we were just working with Java, I was just using this text editor here. So I will be just removing all the things, and if you want to create your method, you can directly create, or you can just use your previous method as well which you have created here. So simply what I'm going to do is I will be removing all these things in my method, because I will be using the same method but I will be changing the name of my method here. And like in the previous video when we were just working on method parameters, so I have told you that we need to just add all the things in our method, but we don't want any value returned. That's why we have used this void keyword. But in this case we want that we should get a return value, so in place of void I will be using some primitive data type here. You can use any primitive data type, but in this case I will be using this init, which is, you can say, a primitive data type which we are using here. And remember, when you are just replacing your void to return a value, you can only use a primitive data type. You cannot use any normal data type like array or any other, which are the normal data types here. So moving on to my Word text editor, Word IDE here, if I just show you, you can just see we are getting like void keyword in all example, which indicates that method should not return a value, and this is the example how we can use it. So I will be just copying this here, and moving on I will be removing all the things, or you can directly paste these all things in your methods, but I will be not doing that. I will be pasting here, so I will be just doing like this. I will be removing this method because we have already get one public class main, so we need to remove this, and that is the reason we are getting an error here. So now you can just see the error which we were getting was previously is gone now, and we can just work with it here. I'll be removing all the things from here as well. So we have created the public class main, and remember, when you are creating a public class here, when you are just working with your method or creating your method, so the main should not be written here. Like if your file name is something else, so you need to write your file name here. It's not compulsory to write main, but if your file name is main.java, so you have to write public class main. But if your file name is not main, so you have to write the other file name which you have created of your Java file. So now we have written some things here in our method which we have created. We have given the name of our method, which is my method, and then in this my method I have created some, you can say, a data type value I have written here, which is init x, and this x is a variable. That's why I have added this x with 5 here, and now we have not written any value of this x here, so we need to add the value of this x here, and here I have written the x value should be 3. Now what it is going to do is it will be adding 5 plus 3 because x variable is having a value of 3. And now if I will be running it to check what output I'm getting here, so you can just see if I run it here like this, so you are getting the output as 8. And why I'm getting the output as 8? Because x variable is indicating that you are writing the value 3, so this x variable is a 3 value, and when you are adding 5 with 3, so obviously you will be getting the answer as 8 printed. If you write any other value here in the place of 5, like if I write here 6, so now I will be getting a different answer. I will be getting a 9 here. You can just see I'm getting 9 in the output, and like this you can just use these all values here to return different answers in your output. So moving on to my Word document, if I show you down, now this example, the second example which we will be using, this example will returns the sum of a method of 2 parameters. We have also used method parameters, in which we have understand that how we can use parameters using method, how we can create a parameter in method when we are creating our own method here. So now we need to understand that if we are just using the same thing with method parameter, so how we are getting it working, because at the top we have understand if we are creating a return value with method, so how we can use it. Now we need to understand how we can do it with method parameter as well. So I will be copying this example here, which will be outputting the answer same as I'm getting at the top, but I'm just using method parameter in the place of the method which we have used at the top. So moving on to my NetBeans IDE, I will be commenting out these things here, because we have understand now that how we can just use or how we can return a value using method. Now we need to understand how we can return a value using method parameter. I will be pasting this thing here, and after pasting, now before running these all things, I just need to explain the difference which we are getting between the method which we have run at the top and the second, the method parameter which we will be running. So if we just run it here, you can just see the output is same as we were just getting here, and if I just change this value to an other value, like if it is 5, if I just change it to 6, so obviously I will be getting a different answer as 9 we were just doing here. And one difference, you can say one common difference here is that when we are just working with method, when we were just returning the value in this method, so we were just using one variable, one integer here, and the second value which we were just getting the output of, we were just using a variable there. But in this case we are using two variables. Now we are adding x with y, and both are variables which we are using. And when you are just using variables here, so remember you need to just define those variables in your my method when you are calling this function, or when you are calling your method here. Remember, when we were just working with methods, I have told you that how you can create your method and how you can call your method in method parameters video as well, in the method video as well, in which we were just understanding that. So remember, when you are just adding a variable, or if you are just adding the variable, or if you are subtracting variable together, so you need to define the number of variable as well, like the integer value which you want to input. In this case, I have written x variable as 5 and y variable as 3. You can give any other value as well, like the output we were just getting when we were just running was 8. Now if I change this value to 7 and this 3 to 5, now you will be getting a different output. If we add 7 plus 5, so obviously we will be getting a different answer, not 8 here. So if I run it, you can just see we are getting 12, because 7, if you add 7 with 5, so obviously you will be getting an answer 12. If you want to just subtract, you can just subtract it as well here like this, and if I run it, you can just see now when we are subtracting 7 with 2, so we are getting the answer 7 with 5, sorry, and we are getting the answer as 2. Then if we want to multiply, you can add multiplication sign by pressing shift and 8, so you will be getting this star sign here, which is a multiplication sign when we are working with any programming language here. So I will be running it, and you can just see 7 5s are 35, and we are getting the output as 35 printed. And you can divide it as well. Obviously we will be getting an answer in decimal value, because 7 doesn't come in 5 rough table. That's the reason. You can just see we are getting 1 here, which is a decimal answer after doing all the things here. So that's the thing, and that's the way that how you can just return a value in Java using different things. Like we have understand how we can use method, we have understand how we can call a method, we have understand how we can work with method parameters, and in this video we have understand how we can return a value in our method or method parameters when we are working with Java. So I hope you understand how we can just return a value here in method or method parameter using Java. And if you have just understand this, or if you understand this video from start in which we have covered up these all things, so remember to hit a like to this video. And if you're new on this channel, want to see more videos like this, so remember to subscribe, and after subscribing hit notification bell as well, so you can get the notifications of all my videos which I will be uploading in future. So here, this is the other example which you can use, which I have written. You can also store the result in a variable recommended, as it is easier to read and maintain. If you want that, you should be using easier way, or if you want to read and maintain your code in a easier way, so you can use this example here, but I will prefer you to use the return values with method and method parameters as we were just using in this NetBeans IDE. So just I will be meeting you in next tutorial or in next project using Java from start. So for today, goodbye.